Did you see that shit? MMA podcast. Hosted by mixed martial arts journalist Mike Strauss, aka Strauss21, and Chicago's #1 underground comedian, Apollo Taj Mahal.
Yo, Mike.
What's up, bro?
Did you see the Conor McGregor wannabe get sidekicked?
Sure did. I had a pretty good vantage point for that. How about it, huh?
Oh, how did that look like up close?
The same as it did on TV, except the TV you had a way better angle. But it was the energy in there was crazy. We'll get into that plus everything else, man. We have a huge show. We're going to talk about that Bellator 204. We're going to get into UFC Lincoln. It is fight week. We're going to break down the card as well as give our picks for the main card. We have two huge interviews. They've been out for a while, so you may have heard them. Two Juans, one Archuleta, Juan Adams. So if you haven't listened to them, go listen to them. They'll be in this episode. Two awesome guys. Two guys I think have very bright futures ahead of them.
It's been a while since I've seen you, buddy.
Yeah,
what's up?
A little bit. A lot of traveling here.
Yeah, same here. You were at Bellator 204.
Yes, I was.
And I want to give a huge shout out to Kalamazoo and Western Michigan University. We had a ball out there, me and Wild and Out MTV cast member Blair Christensen. So shout out to them. And you can find more of my stuff wherever we're at. But what are we going to be talking about during this show?
Well, if you guys don't know, I am Mike Strauss, a.k.a. Strauss21. That is Apollo Taj Mahal, Chicago's #1 underground comedian. Together, we are the guys that make up the Did You See That Shit Mixed Martial Arts podcast. We appreciate all the love and support, guys. Whatever platform you're listening to us on, just keep doing it. Whether it's Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes, our website, YouTube channel, whatever it is, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And if you want to be a part of the show, or if you just want to let us know how you feel about a particular MMA subject, shoot us an email, mike@didyousee.shit.com. And, of course, we are on social media. You can follow us every social media platform. I am at a.k.a. Strauss21, and you can follow Apollo at
Apollo T. Mahal on Twitter and Apollo Taj Mahal everywhere else. Follow my Snapchat, Apollo Taj Mahal. It's a lot of fun.
So let's get into it, Apollo. Bellator 204 happened. A lot of things went down from that card. Heading into it, there was a couple of highlights on the card. Everybody was talking about James Gallagher. The big talk, of course, Darrion Caldwell. He was going up in weight, challenging Noah Haladat. No belt was on the line, but this was kind of an indicator on how Caldwell could potentially do at a bigger weight class. Coming out of it, far and away, the talk is Conor McGregor's boy. You alluded to it in the beginning. Some instant karma delivered to him. We'll go over the card here.
Just keep your hands up.
What is your biggest takeaway, man?
Everybody's biggest takeaway is let's all learn sidekicks because they're really cool to do.
Effective, right?
I guess so. They're normally like a slower kick to hit, but man, if you can hit it quick, it looks awesome. Man, this is really, really hard for me to take away besides that sidekick of instant karma. The headline fight was amazing, and even though I thought the main event was a great fight, somebody on Twitter didn't think it was a great fight, and you saw that.
Yeah, Patricia Pitbull, he tweeted something to the effect of he wasn't impressed by Caldwell's performance, and one of Caldwell's teammates, and arguably best bantamweight to ever live, Dominic Cruz, he was standing right behind me, and he had kind of like nudged me like, hey, talk to him about that, like ask him about that. And I didn't, just because I was just still trying to gather myself because Dominic Cruz was behind me. So yeah,
name drop.
Yeah, all in all, man, it was a really solid card. You mentioned Darrion Caldwell. He went up in weight. He beat Noah Haladat KO 246 of round 2. Man, Caldwell, he's the bantamweight champion, and he moved up in weight, took on Haladat. He easily got the W. I don't know what's next. He's calling out. He says he wants both the Pitbull brothers. They're running from him, is what he says.
I honestly think I was very impressed. I do not agree with Pitbull at all. You go up in weight and you knock somebody out, able to keep power going up in weight is very impressive, and I think that is a great fight I want to see.
Yeah, he looks the part of a featherweight, definitely. Logan Storley, he smashed AJ Matthews via TKO, ground and pound 346 of round 2. Man, this was a tough one because both these guys, friend of the show, we had a lot of guys on this card that have been on the show before, but Logan Storley, I believe that this guy has the skill and the drive to be like a Ben Askren. I believe he's that good.
Yeah, you've been talking about him for a long time. Now, obviously, I am a huge fan of AJ Matthews. He is probably one of my favorite fighters that we've had on the show. You are right. That dude is a beast. His wrestling is on another level.
Yeah, it's something else, man. It's definitely something else. And then how about Ricky Bandejas? He even made Sports Center with the sidekick. He pretty much stunned most of the MMA universe when he flatlined James Gallagher KO 249 of round one. Talk about some instant karma, man. I mean, I don't know why Gallagher marched across the cage, got into his face, started saying, "I'm back. This is me. You're going down." All this. It was like I didn't understand why he did that. I mean, you guys are about to fight. That seemed unnecessary. You're not trying to sell it anymore at that point. So, instant karma was delivered. We had Bandejas on the show way before. Right, it was the day before they announced the fight. He couldn't tell me who it was, but he promised it was going to be a doozy.
He delivered.
He definitely delivered, man. And this day, I saw this coming. Not many people did. Gallagher, listen, try as he might, he's just not Conor McGregor.
He's
talented. Decent fighter, but there's a lot of holes in his game. Bandejas showed you just with clean, crisp boxing, you can take him out. I mean,
man,
it was that easy for him.
The biggest thing I noticed was just like, man, if he would have just kept his hands up, he doesn't keep his hands up, and he got clipped bad, and then he got sidekicked, and he went down. And I don't think he's coming back from that one.
Do you remember the Chappelle Show? Do you remember one of the skits when keeping it real goes wrong?
When keeping it real goes wrong.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Yeah, that was exactly it right there.
Yo, somebody on social media, please make a video with that. When keeping it real goes wrong.
Can't wait to get Bandejas back on the show, and can't wait to see what's next for him, too. And then Taiwan Claxton, he defeated Chris Lencioni, formerly Chris Williams, by decision. He dominated him through the whole fight, man. And what can you say? Lencioni was another guy at the weigh-ins that was all in his face, hands up in the air, super cocky. This kid came in super heavy. Didn't even try to make it weight, it looked like. Claxton beat the brakes off him, probably well-deserved. Who knows what's next? But all in all, it wasn't too bad. Shout out to a couple of guys on the undercard, Jason Jackson, David Michaud, and Ramiro Cotton. Those guys are all fantastic fighters. They all took home W's, and I think all three of those guys have futures in Bellator, I think, too.
I think they do as well. This overall Bellator 204, really good card. I'm excited to see what all these fighters end up doing. I really want to see the Pitbull fight now.
I'm really excited to see what Juan Archuleta is going to do next in Bellator. Of course, he's been training at the training lab with all those guys, TJ Dillashaw, Cub Swanson, all those guys, man. I can't wait. But in the meantime, we had a chance to catch up with him. Here's our conversation with Juan Archuleta. I want to welcome back Juan the Spaniard Archuleta to the show, 19-1 on a 15-fight win streak, and I'm under the belief that you are one of the very best featherweights in the world, brother.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
I mean, you're 2 fights into your Bellator career, and both wins, very impressive, man. What's next for you?
Yeah, man. We were talking about that lately, especially after being around a crowd like TJ's and Cub Swanson's environment in the Staples Center, so made me want to get right back in there. Right now, I texted my manager, and they're trying to square something away for either October, November, and, hopefully get put on a card here shortly so I could, keep working towards the ultimate goal.
Which, of course, is gold, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Getting those straps for Bellator.
Now, you mentioned TJ and Cub, and of course the training lab where you're a huge part of that group as well. Sam Kellavito, all those guys. What you guys have been able to do is just phenomenal, man. I really believe that you guys are one of the fastest up and coming camps. You're already there, but you know what I mean. You're newer, so what you guys are doing, you're all killers, man. It's phenomenal to see. I don't know if this is a possibility or not, but AJ McKee was supposed to have a fight with Pat Curran, and it looks like that fight's off now. I think everybody would like to see you and AJ McKee go at it for the #1 contender spot.
AJ, he's definitely a talented fighter. I think they got the slot filled. But two California guys, it's kind of like I'm done trying to fight the local scene. We're both from California. I've trained with them. He trains with my teammate Aaron Pico. So, I think there's more other #1 contender spots out there other than fighting someone in my backyard. And there's people from Ireland, there's people from New York, just all over the place. So to fight, I feel like I'm done in my career fighting someone in my backyard to try to step up a ladder. I don't think I need to do that anymore. I've solidified who who I am as a fighter. And until they put the champion in front of me, that's who I'm aiming for. But as far as fighting, guys that are local scene around here, it doesn't really spark my interest anymore. I want to fight the bigger names that are already solidified. With AJ, he's made a name. He's talented. He's hungry. And another thing that I'm doing is dropping down to 135. So, that opens up the way for AJ, and it opens up the way for me as well of going straight for the title.
Very cool, man. And you're right. At this point in your career, you have definitely earned the right to kind of pick and choose what you want to do. You're 20 fights into your career. You have a 19-1 record. You're on a 15-fight win streak. So I think you've earned the right to kind of pick and choose, your fights from here on out. And of course, you're a fighter in every sense of the word. You would never turn down a fight. But
oh no, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's what you're saying is different though. Not wanting to fight guys in your backyard is not turning down a fight. I mean,
yeah. No.
As far as I know, you've never turned down a fight. Now you're only 30 years old, man. You mentioned that you're going to be going down in weight. What sparked that move?
Just been what I've been doing in my career. I come from a Spanish heritage. We're known as the conquistadors. And it's just like that's what the legacy I want to leave, conquering divisions, after divisions, and leaving my mark in the sport as a conqueror of each promotion I fought for. And so that's kind of my vision. That's kind of the vision that Joe Daddy Stevenson and I had came up with, after my first loss. And, we're just going to keep pushing forward and, take it one fight at a time and just conquer everything that's put in front of us.
I mean, you've really surrounded yourself with a talented group of people, and we mentioned T.J. Cub, Joe Stevenson, and of course Dwayne Ludwig. I believe you've had some work with him too. What does it mean to you, man, to be able to surround yourself with such high-level coaches, man?
Oh, it's awesome. It means everything. It means it's putting me where I am now. It's listing me as one of the top fighters in the world. Actually, I think Sherdog actually got it fixed, but my record sitting now is 20-1. They forgot a couple of the sites kind of forgot to put a fight on that I had in Indiana that was sanctioned, of course, and that's. But I think they fixed it. But sitting at a 20-1 record, it's just. I owe it all to my coaching staff, my training partners, and then, the moves that are coming in the future is going to be because of, Tiki Gosen, and he's starting to track my career now, and he's starting to take over the driver's seat while we, put in the hard work. So it's definitely showing the people we surrounded ourselves with, the coaching staff we have, and with the management team that we have, it's just the sky's pretty much the limit for us right now.
Absolutely, man. You guys are some of the hardest working fighters out there. I mean, every day I just see on social media you and everybody at the training lab, man. It's really cool to see. Before I let you go, man, it looks like the last few days you were enjoying some fishing, huh?
Oh yeah, that's my dad, actually my grandpa, he loved fishing, and I didn't get to spend much time with my grandpa. He actually died right before I was born.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, my dad always takes me out with them fishing, and, I've grown to love it, being out there in the ocean, especially after TJ's fight. I didn't jump out of the gym after my fight. I kind of continued to train. Like that next Monday, I was in the gym training with TJ and Cub right after my fight to get them ready for theirs, and a couple of the other guys that we had coming up. So it was a good time to get away. I love being out in the ocean. It helped me, sit down, take some time back, think of and enjoy the process of everything that just happened. My last knockout. TJ keeping his title. Cub had he was doing well until he got caught in the exchange and then dropped with a punch. So, but it's just sitting back and enjoying everything, enjoying the process, and just enjoying everything, taking everything in, and getting away from everything where my phone was off, and just having some alone time, and just thanking God for everything that I have, and and then it helped catching a bunch of fish, of course,
Yeah.
So yeah, it was awesome, man. I love being out in the ocean for sure.
What's the biggest thing you've ever caught from the ocean?
I've caught about like a 40-pound yellowtail. Nothing bigger than that.
That's
But
huge. 40 pounds is huge, huh?
yeah. I mean, we try to go out there and try to get the big tuna, the big bluefin, but sometimes it doesn't go as planned, or they're not biting. You could throw a hook in a whole school of fish, and that's what happened to us. We came across a big school of tuna. We threw our jigs down there, and we're down there jigging, and there was like 15 people on the boat. Not one person got bit. We were like, man, what the? They just weren't hungry.
That's the beauty of fishing, though. You could spend a day out there and catch nothing, or you could spend 5 minutes and catch a dozen. So you just never know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's why they call it fishing and not catching.
Exactly. Well, Juan, man, I appreciate you doing this, man. I would like to give you a few minutes here. Shout out your coaches, sponsors, teammates, whatever you'd like, man. The floor is yours.
Oh, man, I just want to thank you for having me on again. I appreciate the time and reaching out and having me on your show. I'd like to thank all my training partners and coaching, and of course my sponsors, so big shout out to those guys. And, I look forward to, most importantly, I'm building a huge relationship with the Spanish community. I'm actually headed out in November to Spain to start doing some seminars and, just teaching MMA worldwide and, trying to build the Spanish MMA scene up. I feel like a guy like myself and TJ and Cub and, the group of training partners that I have, taking them out there and exposing them to world-class talent is going to help elevate their game. So I'm super excited for that. So, hopefully the process keeps going and we'll be able to get a fight from Bellator out in Spain very soon. So thanks to those guys, all the fans out there that are connecting with me and reaching out. And, I definitely appreciate all my family, my wife, my kids, and my mom and dad. So, and your fans as well. Thanks for them tuning in and listening. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, I thank you for your time, Juan. I'd love to have you back on. Hopefully Bellator does get you on a card out there in Spain, because they're out there so often that you think that would just be a perfect fit for you.
Oh yeah, that was some talk that we had signing with the promotion and that they're building the relationships with. So I figure I'd jump on the boat right away and get a head start and build a fan base out there. And go from there.
Man, I can't wait. I appreciate your time, man. Enjoy your weekend.
All right, thanks, brother. I appreciate it. You too.
Take care, Juan.
All right, take care.
All right, there you go.
Man, I'm so excited to see him fight.
Great fighter. All right, Apollo, we're going to do something we have maybe done once before on this show ever, and that's talk some WWE.
Dear Lord.
I guess SummerSlam was last night, because we were recording this on Monday. And I guess Ronda Rousey, she won her first ever WWE title. And Brock Lesnar, he lost his championship belt. He's inching closer to a return, man. He dropped the title. That's clear.
Well, he dropped the title so he could get off his roids.
Well, yeah, he's already been tested by USADA, so...
By the way, Daniel Cormier did mention that he's like, man, Brock Lesnar's looking pretty small and flabby. And I actually honestly noticed that. Brock Lesnar didn't look as scary as he normally does in WWE. I'm just saying, poke, poke, nudge, nudge, he's looking flabby. Now... Ronda Rousey, besides the fact that she looked like Nightman from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, her makeup is something else, huh?
I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how I feel about her in WWE. They're like making her this big, bad, scary person, but I can just put a picture up of her getting head kicked and getting knocked out, and it just stops that.
Yeah. I guess I have mixed feelings too, right? Because I sat right here in this very same seat on this very same show talking to you when she made her debut, and I was like, I think this is good for her. I liked it overall. I thought it was good. I thought a few things she needed to figure out and work out, and I thought overall it looked like she was doing pretty well, because I haven't been keeping a close eye on it, but at a distance it appeared to be good. But after seeing, I saw a few clips of, last night, maybe in total 2 minutes, like a 30-second clip here, a minute there, whatever, and full disclosure, I used to be a hardcore WWF and WWE fan way back when.
Back in the Attitude
80s,
Era?
90s, yeah, way back then. So I kind of know what a fighter, what a superstar looks like, right? And seeing those 2 minutes of her in there, it was weird, it was uncomfortable. And I don't know if that's because she's a fighter turned wrestler, but I don't think that's it, because I've seen a lot of them. I've seen Lesnar, I've seen Shamrock, I've seen a lot. It's the way she's doing it, right? She's in there and she's talking like, "Are you guys ready to see a new champion?" And I'm just like, whoa, this is weird. And she's like, "Here comes the ass kicking." and then she goes in with like these real bad punches, and I'm just
the punches bother me
I'm like,
so
this
much.
is terrible. What bothers me even more than the bad punching is the talking, the narrating to the crowd.
Honestly, if
It's terrible,
if
man.
I was her, what I liked before, I've seen a couple clips of her before.
I'm glad she's doing good. But
Yeah,
Jesus.
What I liked before, what they were doing with her, and I'm not a huge WWE
they make her like a
fan.
wrecking machine,
They made her just really quiet, like Brock
a
Lesnar.
female Goldberg,
Yeah, like a female Goldberg or a
like a
female
destroyer.
or a female Brock Lesnar when he first came in.
Right,
He
exactly.
didn't talk.
Right.
And she would just run in there, beat someone up,
people and get out.
And then she had like her friend
Yeah.
that she would try to protect and then leave.
They're making a caricature of herself.
I don't like her as champ. This is why. I like her as the bad person who's getting the title taken away from her.
like Lesnar.
But because what they were doing is you're on suspension, so now she would have to. Now she couldn't really do things that she was just
I
like.
don't even know she's on suspension.
I paid attention for like 5 seconds, and this is what
Sounds
I got.
like you know where now.
Listen, guys.
So we got a closet WWE fan here.
I'm not ready to talk about this.
Oh, he is.
All right, listen,
oh
sir.
My God.
I am a casual fan, and I don't appreciate you calling me out on this podcast.
Man.
You know what? Next subject. Okay, guess what? It
In
happened.
an unrelated piece of news, we will have a new co-host starting next week.
You know what? I don't need this podcast. Podcast needs me.
So, Paulo, Jon Jones might be coming back way sooner than expected. Apparently, there's a lot of heat around him coming back to headline UFC 230, which is, of course, the UFC's big annual Madison Square Garden visit. And, wow, that's kind of interesting timing, huh?
So we all know who my father is, right?
Daniel Cormier.
Daniel Cormier. Okay. We all know who is the greatest heavyweight of all time, right? Daniel Cormier.
Daniel Cormier.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say this: Jon Jones should never be in an octagon again. I don't want to see him. He's a cheater. He's a liar, and he hurt my dad. But besides that, I would like to see him versus Alexander Gustafsson in November. But they should not have him fight Daniel Cormier in November.
What's the rumored fight? Do we know?
There is no rumored fight, but the only two fights that make sense are Daniel Cormier or Alexander Gustafsson. I am saying they should.
I don't think it will be DC.
I don't, and here's why. He has that fight against Brock Lesnar that's
Right.
already hyped.
Yeah, it's
And
either
if he
that
goes
or
in-
it's going to be a rematch with Stipe. It's going to be one of the two.
Yeah, so those two fights are already hyped up.
I mean, I don't know that. That's just my guess.
Yeah, but have Daniel Cormier fight. Do not ruin him going into a fight with Brock Lesnar or possibly Stipe.
the Gustafsson fight would be awesome. But do you think is that the fight though?
I think it is.
Do you think the UFC would book that fight though? Because I don't know if Gustafsson has enough
Well, you have Nate Diaz on that fight already.
on that card.
Co-main event. You got
That's
Jon
true.
Jones return.
That's true. That is true.
I'm hearing some rumors. Like, doesn't that kind of make sense of why Alexander Gustafsson possibly pulled out of the LA card?
No, I don't think that there was an injury. I forget what it is, but he had some. Plus, I don't think
it was
that
a minor injury, but he was looking for an opponent.
No,
I don't-
he had Anthony Smith had called him out the day after.
Yeah.
so that wouldn't have been an issue.
I'm
Anthony
just-
Smith would have beat the brakes off him too.
I know, but if Anthony Smith would have beat the brakes off him, do you think that would ruin a Jon Jones return?
I think Anthony Smith is Anthony Smith and Jon Jones is the fight I want to see.
But I think for the casual
Fuck,
fan,
holy shit, that's the fight I want to see.
oh God, I do want to see that too. But for namesake, Alexander Gustafsson versus Jon Jones, UFC 230, because USADA is just going to believe whatever lie Jon Jones said, because at this point the UFC needs him.
We'll see. He might be back before year's end.
Man, how many lives does he have?
All right, UFC Lincoln is here. It is upon us. 6-fight main card, man. We're going to give you our picks and a little bit of breakdown just on the main card, but it's a real solid fight card the whole way through. You got guys like Mickey Gall fighting. He's like the first or second fight of the night, so real solid. Let's get to it, man. We'll work our way from the opening of the main card to the main event. Kicking it off is one of our many friends of the show, Eric Anders versus Tim Williams. I like Eric Anders. He's 10-1. That only loss is to Machida. I don't even think he lost that fight.
He won that fight.
Yeah, I think he is very good. He's very talented. He also has that documentary style thing where the Alabama Crimson Tide followed him around with Coach Saban. I think that comes out Wednesday, I think, the day after my birthday, I believe. I'm pretty sure the 22nd. So check that out. I think it's on ESPN or ESPN2. Your boy Eric Anders. I like Anders, man. He's just better, I think.
I'm going with Eric Anders as well. I think he's better. Tim Williams is not terrible, but Eric Anders is a beast.
Then we have John Moraga, Davidson Figueroa. I like Figueroa. He is 14-0. He is 4 years younger than Moraga. He's only 30. And I think that this fight is going to be all action, man. Non-stop action.
Who'd you go with again?
Figueroa.
I'm going to actually agree with you. Gosh, why is this happening today?
Keep agreeing because I've been on a hot streak. Perhaps.
I know, man. You have been on the craziest hot streak I've ever seen.
Jake Ellenberger versus Brian Barberina. Another guy we had on the show recently. I like Barberina. Super stoked for this one, man. Ellenberger is on a 3-fight skid. Barberina is coming back from an injury, so it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes. But I'm going to go with Barberina because I just think he brings more heat.
I have been betting against Jake Ellenberger for a while, and I've been right.
Winning then,
yeah. I've been winning pretty much. But for some reason, every time his back is against the fence on a 3-fight skid, he's gone after this. I'm going to go with Jake Ellenberger.
Oh.
I think with his back against the fence, I think he's going to pull something out. If he doesn't, welcome to Bellator, Jake Ellenberger. Or the PFL. They're doing pretty well.
They are. Then we have one that I think is going to be a candidate for Fight of the Night. You have Courtney Casey, Angela Hill. This one is probably one of the toughest ones for me on the whole card to pick. I'm going to go Casey, though. But, man, Hill could easily take this fight. It's just... Hill is just so much action, so hard to handle, and Casey is just so damn tough. So I'm going to go Casey.
So I heard the names, and I go, Courtney Casey. I'm a huge fan of her. I like what she does. And then you go Courtney Casey. Now I'm going Courtney Casey. This is really annoying. I'm going with the same pick as you.
All right, Courtney Casey it is. And this next one's interesting. Michael Johnson versus Andre Fili. Reason why I say it's interesting is because Michael Johnson was in South Dakota in Sioux Falls for Bellator 204.
Yeah.
He was representing American Top Team, and those guys. He was one of the many cornermen. There were 6 fighters from ATT represented there, so he was in the corner. And I didn't even realize that he was fighting on this card because he didn't even look like he was in fight shape at all. I'm not saying he looked bad. He didn't. He just looked like a regular dude, like a regular guy. I didn't even realize that he had a fight because he didn't look like he was a week out from a fight.
What weight is he fighting at right now?
He's a lightweight.
He's a lightweight.
Yeah.
I know he did make a venture to 145.
So for that reason, man, I'm going to go Andre Fili because I just didn't even realize that Johnson had a fight. He just didn't, to me, he didn't look like a guy that was a week out from a pretty big fight. So I'm going to go Fili.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
Check this out. Johnson has gone 1-5 in his last 6 fights, and Fili has gone 4-2.
Oh, I'm going Fili. I was just about to say Michael Johnson, then I forgot that he's on this skid.
It's a bad one.
I'm going with Fili, and the fact that you saw him and you didn't feel that he was ready.
I didn't even realize. I mean, he didn't look. When you see a guy a week out from a fight, you could kind of like, it's about that time.
He's pretty angry because he hasn't eaten that much.
Or maybe he's just one of those guys that is super even keel. I don't know. Maybe he is.
We'll see. But I'm going to go with Fili. I'm going to go with Fili on this one.
Then, of course, you have the main event. You have, according to James Vick, you have the Homer Simpson of MMA and Justin Gaethje. And then taking on James Vick. I like James Vick, man. I just think Vick is too damn big for the lightweight division. And I think the blueprint is out there on how to beat Gaethje.
What's Gaethje's nickname?
The Highlight.
No, it's not Homer Simpson.
And then he calls himself the Violent One.
No, it is Justin Homer Simpson Gaethje now.
You didn't hear James Vick say that?
No.
Yeah, he called him the Homer Simpson. It's funny as hell.
Yo, James Vick's now the new best trash talker I've ever seen in my life.
It is pretty funny.
Okay, James Vick is freaking huge, by the way.
Dude, he's retarded big.
Yo, how does he even make 155? I will never know.
I'm almost 6'2", and he's going to sky over me.
Wait.
And he's a lightweight.
So he's 6'3"?
I believe he's 6'3".
What? Dude, I'm 6'3".
6'3".
You're 6'3", okay.
Got a 76-inch reach.
What the fuck? Okay, one, I'm going to state this fact. James Vick, if you are over the height of 6'3", What the fuck are you doing?
Justin Gaethje's 5'11".
Oh my God. All right, if you're over 6'3", what are you doing in the lightweight division? I don't even know how you got there. Justin Gaethje's 5'11", but Justin Gaethje has such good leg kicks.
It's impressive.
His leg kicks are amazing. I want to say James Vick, but I feel that Justin Gaethje has learned something from his last 2 fights, and I think he knows he has to win. I think he knows
he has to win.
He has to win.
I don't think so.
Because then he has to.
No, I don't think so.
He just has to do something exciting again?
I don't even think he has to do that. I think he has so much equity built up in those first 2 fights. Dana White has openly said he loves this dude. Justin Gaethje is one of those fighters that could literally lose 5 straight fights and still not have to worry because he is going to fill seats. So let me ask you, if Justin Gaethje was on a 5-fight losing streak, would you still watch him fight that 6th fight? Of course you
yes,
would.
I would.
Everybody would.
I think Justin Gaethje's going to change something up. I think he's going to add his wrestling into this. I can easily be wrong because
he does.
Because Justin Gaethje completely makes no sense as a human being sometimes.
One of Justin Gaethje's closest friends and best training partner is a very good friend of the show, Brennan Gertz.
Yeah.
I messaged him to see if he was going to be in his corner or there in attendance. And unfortunately, he had a trip that was pre-booked ahead of this, so he isn't, and he's bummed about it. But I was hoping, because I was kind of hoping to pick his brain and see about the wrestling, see if he was going to kind of implement it. But who knows? Now we're going to have to wait and see.
Gertz is like, no, he's just going to throw that completely out the window.
Yeah.
Like
he always does.
I'm just saying, James Vick, I kind of know what he's going to do. He is a beast fighter. He's going to go in there. He's going to fight his fight. And because of his size and his reach, he's going to be able to pick him apart. Justin Gaethje has so many skills and uses none of them. So
he uses a few.
He uses 2 things. He doesn't
use them all.
He uses a hook, his head, and leg kicks.
Oh, it got him that far, so he hadn't had to change anything up until this point. But who are you going with?
I'm
going with Vic.
I'm going with the Homer Simpson of the lightweight division.
All right. I want to welcome back Juan the Kraken Adams to the show for the 2nd time, except now he is an official UFC fighter. Congratulations, man.
Thanks, man. Feels great. I'm happy to be there.
You looked phenomenal, man. Week 7, the Contender Series. You KO'd Sean Tweed in the first round, but my favorite part was afterwards, man. You were saying that Sean probably should have cut down on the barbecue and all this, but you're a talented fighter, but your mouthpiece is incredible, man. I mean, you have the total package, Juan.
Thank you.
Dana White jumped all over giving you a contract. His actual quote was, "I love Juan Adams." So, anytime you have the boss throwing that kind of compliment at you, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, it was huge, and there were a few haters online afterwards, but the pros definitely outweighed the cons, and they watch UFC, and I'm in the UFC, so apparently we know what we're doing.
You definitely are, man. You're only 26 years old, and I think you're one of the best heavyweight prospects in the entire world. And now you're going to get the chance to show it, man. You're on the big show. How has everything been since competing on the Contender Series? I know it was only been about a couple weeks now, but how have things changed?
Things have changed a lot. I've been doing a lot more interviews. People definitely recognize me a lot more. And, it's just a different level of respect amongst other fighters and, from media and stuff like that, to have that label with you now. So it's a huge change. It's great. And, we carry ourselves differently now. It's official. We are professionals, and this is our job now. For sure. You're still at Paradigm? Yes, Paradigm in the Fight Lab and doing strength and conditioning out at Studio Fitness in the Heights. Very cool. Now, I know it's all so fresh and new still, but if it was up to you, when would you like to make your official UFC debut? If it was up to me, I'd like to make my official debut at the end of October, early November, but definitely before the end of the year. I've only fought twice this year. I like to normally fight 4 times in a year, so we're a little bit behind schedule. The Contender Series kind of stopped me from taking another fight, so I want to make up for that now. I'm ready to go. How was the Contender Series compared to some of the other play like LFA and some of the other organizations you've competed for? How was it fighting in the Contender Series? It was a little different. The crowd was a little bit smaller, but it definitely felt more official. And, it's always a big deal when, Dana White and Mick Maynard are in there, the two, and Sean Shelby as well, plus the other UFC fighters that were there. We had, Pettis there, and then Anthony Kiedis was there too, which was pretty cool. And then, Sam Hoger showed up. A lot of really big names in the industry were there. So it seemed more official, even though the crowd was smaller. But it seemed like a bigger stage, but it was a smaller audience, and it was great. I loved it.
And no walkout music, right?
Yeah. I didn't get my walkout music, but in the UFC, we've got. I'll probably do some fan polls later on to see what the songs are going to be. But we've got some in mind, so I'm excited for it. I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
You mentioned UFC fighters. One of the guys that you've had an opportunity to train with, Curtis Blades, he actually just called out Stipe not too long ago. There's supposed to be a fight they're working on. What do you think of that, man?
Honestly, man, I think it's great. I think Curtis has been due for a title shot for a while. It's crazy that, how some of the antics and stuff play into it, because Curtis is really a great guy. Stipe is a great guy, and they're both old school martial artists, so they don't really play the whole social media game and talking all that much. But it's great to see Curtis, kind of coming out of the show a little bit, finally asking for what's his, giving names, and I'd love to see that fight, and I think it's great. And if he wins that, he's definitely in line for a title shot. There's no disputing it.
Yeah, absolutely. If he takes out Stipe, you're right, there's no question there. They might not be too active on social media, but you are. On Twitter, you're at Chosen1 285. You're one of the very best follows, not just in mixed martial arts, man. You're one of the best follows, period, in all of social media. You are hilarious, man. Have you always been a funny guy, like naturally funny dude?
Yeah, people have always told me I'm funny, like growing up, and it's fun. It's fun to like kind of let it shine on social media a little bit. I kind of try and keep it PG-13. I don't go full R too often. I used to coach at a middle school, and I still coach at a high school, so I got kids following me and stuff. But we keep it. We play with the line a little bit, and it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with it, and I just love it.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time, man. I'll let you get to training there. I'm sure that you're super busy, especially coming off the heels of that impressive Contender Series victory. I'd like to give you a few seconds here to shout out your coaches, teammates, sponsors, whatever you'd like to, man. Floor is yours.
All right, for sure. First and foremost, I'd like to shout out my sponsors, Jet Hot Premium Coatings. I don't know what's faster, my fights or their cars. And then we've got FlemingAttorneys.com for keeping me out of all the legal trouble. If you need a lawyer, personal injury is their specialty, but I'm pretty sure they can do it all. And, Studio Fitness in the Heights, they definitely sponsor me, so that's a huge bonus. And now we get to my coaches, not affiliated with Studio Fitness in any way. Ryan Casey Baker, my personal trainer, nutritionist, athletics extraordinaire right there. And you can find him on @TheCheatMeal. He's a pretty good follow as well. And then my main coaches, my MMA coaches, we have Jeremy Laughlin over out of Fight Lab, Leroy Vasquez out of Paradigm Training Center, David Kelly, he's in charge of all my striking, the biggest improvement by far. He's also out of the Fight Lab. And Ryan Casey Baker again for my athletics and movement and all that. And also Kinetic Sports Med out in, they've got one location in League City, and they're at Avenue Fitness in Westview. Tyler Bowman, chiropractor and corrective specialist, and he keeps me going. So that's all of them.
Well, I appreciate your time, man. As I said, I'm sure that things have been a big change for you since earning your contract, and everything that comes your way, you fully deserve, brother. I'm so happy for you, and hopefully we can get a chance to do this again before your official UFC debut.
Yeah, for sure, man. You've always got priority.
Sounds good. I appreciate your time. Enjoy your weekend, man.
Thank you. You too. Have a good one.
Thanks, Juan. Well, if the MMA thing doesn't work out for Justin Gaethje, which I don't think he'll have a problem, but if it doesn't, he could always go to the World Bare Knuckle Fighting Federation.
Oh, that makes so much sense for him.
Too much sense in a weird way.
I know.
They just signed two more former UFC fighters, man. They signed Josh Neer and Melvin Gillard.
Melvin Gillard?
Yeah, you may remember this promotion. They made news a while back when they signed Chris Liebman and Phil Baroni to fight each other. So
which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. They're making some moves now. This bare knuckle boxing thing is feels like how the UFC and MMA was in the early 90s. It's real popular, man.
I think it's Joe Rogan's podcast just getting in people's head. Because he's been talking about this forever.
Well, something to this extent, yeah. It's kind of. You think it's eventually going to evolve into his vision.
Yeah, basketball courts.
Could Joe Rogan ever be the ruler of the universe?
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.